Lil'Panda here with a Ranked FFA replay cast, this time submitted by one of the players who shall remain nameless, lest it spoils who won. Speaking of the players, we have Hexapus, twodback, Cat, and Lil'Panda. This is Mars. As you can see, it is a power colony, so an American colony. We have scavengers, scientists, nomads, and elites. I would be a little bit surprised if we saw any elites on this map. Seems like a decent nomad map, especially if you can found in this combo patch over here along with some water, and then maybe ship some aluminum in. What else are we looking at here? This would be maybe an okay-ish scientist spot. Are there any good scavenger spots? I suppose you could found scavenger over here as well. Ooh. There are underground nukes though, so scavenger's probably strictly third or fourth best spot, but wouldn't surprise me to see two nomads, a scientist, and a scavenger, perhaps. So we do have the nomads going, both for the water and the aluminum, to buy their electronics as fast as possible. That is Cat in the blue and Panda in the yellow. Twodback founding in the green, deciding to found closer to water instead of the carbon, which early on you're going to do more carbon shipping than water shipping. And then Hexapus founding for scientist over here, which seems like a sort of desperation move a little bit. It's definitely not the best scientist. You have to ship all this iron in. You at least get this high water here. You won't really be able to use scientific bonuses on these two water tiles. You have to invade this nomad's water spot, which means more shipping or more teleportation. Twodback is up at HQ2, as is Cat. Both making solid plays so far. Lil'Panda not realize that they need to buy up their electronics, it looks like. So has 5k in the bank, 5.5k upgrade. This definitely could have upgraded a little bit faster if Lil'Panda had gone into some water when it was higher and then bought the electronics like Cat did. Nomads are the only factions that do not currently start with any resources, and that's in part because they are one of the strongest factions in the game. Lil'Panda finally gets to HQ2 just before Hexapus does. Hexapus moving into some solar panels as power is getting pretty high and silicon is very cheap, and then immediately going into Cat's water field. Makes sense. Power is a good way to link these up. Cat does have HQ3. If she wants it, she takes it. Twodback into some electrolysis reactors, making decent money. Needs 25k for the upgrade, has 20, should have it shortly, so it's looking like Cat versus Twodback right now. Cat's moving into power as well, triple power. That's a lot of power. Somebody's going to want to power surge this. Cat only has 18k to pay through of debt before she starts to make power money, and this might be enough. Panda is throwing down a black magic tile. Don't do this. Never build a single production building by itself. Just don't do it. Because this one building right here puts out 0.5 resources. If you build a pair, it would put output 0.75. Oh, using the same amount of inputs thanks to economies of scale. Extra claim. This should go for somewhere in the 20s, mid-20s, I would expect. 10,000's way too cheap. Twodback realizing that. The only reason it wouldn't go for that high is if you want to make power money, but 12 still seems really cheap. I think it at least should have gone for 18k right there. The scavengers are really going to like having those extra claims, especially with the need to go into power now. Okay, twodback not going into the extra claim. Lil'Panda is rectifying that mistake by going into the second one after you upgraded. That's the only time it's okay to build a single production building, is if you are just waiting for the upgrade, but usually it would be a better idea to get two of them. Going into a geotherm to handle Lil'Panda's power, that's fine. Their geotherms are pretty cheap. There goes the freeze on Cat's power by Hexapus. Doesn't stop Cat from getting upgraded. Hexapus is definitely behind in this game right now. Needs 48k for the upgrade. A lot of that's in steel. Only has 2 steel mills. Doesn't have any steel whatsoever. Just okay, I guess Hexapus was targeted by an EMP, which was caught, hence the target back on Cat. Cat's definitely in the lead right now. HQ 4, 9, 10k. twodback needs 42k to upgrade. A lot of that in aluminum. Aluminum's still quite expensive this late in the game. Somebody stole this aluminum from Cat, and it's going to Hexapus. That will greatly help Hexapus, as Hexapus does not have much in the way of aluminum. And by not much, I mean none at all, and that's definitely a really big issue. Hexapus just going straight for 2 aluminum, using those mutinies to get that aluminum. Mutinies are cheaper than aluminum if you can keep the mutinies. Cat taking back the medium instead of going for the high. Taking twodback's medium instead of going for a high. That's very interesting. Hexapus finally upgraded to HQ4, but not after Panda has upgraded to HQ5. Has a single greenhouse farm going into another one. So that is okay. Twodback falling back a little bit behind right now. Does finally get to the upgrade, but not too far behind. Has 3 claims, needs to decide what to do with them. Going into some more farms. Farms are pretty good, 68k. Glass wouldn't be that bad either. More aluminum's always good, but twodback not able to rotate out of aluminum like the Nomads do, because Nomads do have this claim return. Superconductor. Oh, Cat and Hexapus both very much want this patent. The question is, who's going to pay for it? And we do have a nuke on Cat's alumina that's currently being mutinied by Hexapus, so Cat not very happy about that. Superconductor won by Hexapus, and this means power is going to die immediately, and it does. So is Hexapus even going to be able to pay off the cost of Superconductor? Maybe just barely. Or not. Nope, it died too quickly. But if people get out of power, Hexapus gets out of this power plant there, then power might go up, then Hexapus might actually make some money out of these. Twodback moving into a hack array, not constructed yet, disguised as a glass kiln, moving into glass. Glass pretty good, but Twodback doesn't have any source of silicon. Relying on the scavenger nomads to keep the price low. Good diversification by Panda over here. Cat does have the ability to upgrade HQ2 if she so chooses, but instead is making a run on Panda. It looks like Panda should be able to defend themselves unless, say, twodback decides to hop in as well. So we'll just have to see what happens there. Both Cat and Panda are earning about equal amounts. And it does look like, well, not entirely sure who has the better earning potential. Panda is a little bit more diversified, but Cat does have a little better adjacency bonus in this life support, which is pretty good. Instead, Cat decides to upgrade, as she does see the writing on the wall. Her purchase into Panda is going to fail, but that puts Cat at HQ5, the only one at HQ5. Still a little bit surprised that no nukes were thrown at the scavenger just to knock the scavenger out of the game early, especially now that carbon's really high. Hacking electronics, risky hack for Hexapus, as these nomads might have some electronics, and then but they don't. Hexapus chasing the electronics price a little bit, deciding better of it. He needs to figure out a way to get back in this game. HQ3 behind 2 HQ4s and an HQ5. Hexapus just needs to get to the upgrades, needs 56k from somehow, needs a lot of steel. Fortunately, nobody is pirating Hexapus' steel, which by the way would be a great idea because steel is so expensive, and pirates are 3k. Sorry, 4.5k. Instead they're pirating carbon, and by they I mean Hexapus pirating carbon so he can run his chemicals. Interesting idea. The only problem is people might realize that the steel mills are very piratable. Twodback with the network virus. Perhaps on purpose. Because it looks like Twodback has a spy there. Lil'Panda is not keeping up with Cat, needs to buy some electronics to get the upgrade. Unfortunately, the electronics price just continues to increase, deciding to move into some electronics production. So that upgrade is going to be a lot more painful than it could be, and that's because Twodback continues to hack electronics. Nobody in electronics just yet. Cat's not in electronics either. Nice pleasure dome by Cat. Very well placed. It is spied out by Twodback. Does need a hologram or something like that just to keep it online better. As you can see, power is rising again. Thanks to everybody moving out of power. Cat's gonna move back into power. Hexapus maybe, if he can afford it, might be a good idea. 2k per panel. Swap those panels out, or once you get the upgrade, go into a couple more panels and you'll be able to pay through your debt pretty quickly. Twodback deciding to stay in HQ4, and as I say that, proving me wrong, upgrading to HQ5. Has about the same amount of money as Cat, although Cat has a little bit of that tied up into Lil'Panda. Cat moving into hologram Offworld. We haven't checked the Offworld prices. 42k launches, 43k profit launches. Those are pretty good. That'll put Cat in a nice commanding position if this Offworld is constructed without being noticed. So far, it doesn't look like it, but the Offworld market is a suspicious reconstructing farm. So maybe it was spotted. Twodback, Hexapus, sorry, going for a patent lab. Surprised that Cat hasn't gone for a patent lab. Twodback also has a patent lab. Where is Twodback's patent lab? Disguised as a water pump, also has a optimization center and a single lone electronics factory. This makes me sad. See, this is why you do not build production buildings by themselves. They don't get any adjacency bonus and they end up turned off. Patent lab for auction. The game's deciding, it agrees with me, why aren't there enough patent labs on this map? And why doesn't Cat have one? Well, Hexapus says, no, you guys can't have patent labs. I want the patent labs to myself. I'm willing to pay 28k for it. But Cat really wants thinking machines, and with these 44k launches, who would blame her? Congratulations. Unfortunately, Hexapus is going to, Twodback right now is going to win the race for thinking machines. Except that Cat does have that double adjacency bonus. Twodback should probably throw on a spy on both of these patent labs. Can you throw a spy in the middle? I don't remember if you can cover two of these with one. Then Twodback realized that he would miss out on thinking machines. Hexapus not even trying to go into thinking machines, just going straight for carbon scrubbing. That'll keep these chemicals online and very profitable. As chemicals extremely profitable for Hexapus. Nukes finally coming out, going on Cat. Cat is a leader, so Cat does need to be nuked out a little bit more. Although Twodback does have a lot of money, but Cat does have a little bit better late game earning potential, it would seem, with this Offworld market. Once a couple more launches come out, Cat should be able to catch up to Twodback. Twodback does notice This Pat Lamb decides to freeze it because correctly guesses that Thinking Machines is going to go out. A nice guess onto weather. Either a good guess or realizing that a Goon Squad has not been purchased since the Pat Lab came out. We do have some stock securing by Hexapus and twodback. Slant drilling goes for Hexapus, I believe.
I hate those filthy bandits.
Lots of power over here, making pretty good money in a dust storm. Cat not going to be able to pay off her debt. Hexapus may be able to pay off his debt before power completely crashes. We'll have to see Lil'Panda getting aggressive into Cat. We haven't actually looked at Lil'Panda recently, but Lil'Panda has been quietly sitting around in the corner, going into lots of carbon. Making some decent money off of carbon. Carbon is really, really expensive right now. $230, so Lil'Panda buying into Cat. Unfortunately, I don't know that Lil'Panda has the income stream behind this to make this a good play.
Is available for auction.
Also surprising that nobody has decided to nuke this Offworld disguised as a elemental quarry, because this is making Offworld money right here. It was $900 a second, now $700 as people have sold out of their carbon stockpiles. But we can go look at Cat's Offworlds. Cat's Offworlds are only making, well, when they're hidden, $550, $505 a second. A little bit more if she's shipping the correct resource, which is now water. As on-world prices are going up rapidly, which means less profits to be made off-world. Hexapus quietly sitting back, making lots of money off of all this water life support and chemical refineries. Still nobody has decided to pirate this steel whatsoever, deciding that other people are better off. This optimization center is now being transitioned into a off-world market, and Hexapus has it spied out. Only one with it spied out. Cat is going to try and go into Lil'Panda. Lil'Panda, despite doing quite well at the moment, doesn't have any sort of late game items. No patents, no optimization centers, no hacker arrays, no pleasure domes. So it's hard to see how Lil'Panda will win this race between Cat and themselves, despite having the stock advantage. Hexapus has caught back up to HQ 5 and has almost the same amount of money as twodback, although twodback did just lose a lot of money because of this Offworld being finished, which is now revealed by a network virus. Probably from Hexapus. But it is a Thinking Machines Offworld, so it's going to be a lot harder to keep down, and if it gets blown up, well, the carbon price will still be, even though it's half, will still be quite painful. $71,000 to blow it up. We don't have dynamites though, so no blowing up is going to happen, just mutinies, so Thinking Machines even better. Lil'Panda panic buying in the twodback a little bit here. I think no reason to do that when you're in a fight against Cat. Still perhaps a chance at winning here. Hexapus continuing to get more patents. What is all of Hexapus' territory in right now? Going hard into power. Maybe finally going to make some power money. Look at that, 400 a second per solar panel over here. And finally going to pay off that debt, it looks like, before the power price goes down too far. Lil'Panda going into an off-world market, but this one is completely exposed, no goons on it. Hologram placed on it 23% of the way into construction, so that might have been spotted by other players. We do have a shortage in life support, which does benefit our scientist friend over here, Hexapus, and those who are in life support, which is Cat still. Lil'Panda. I guess pretty much everybody's in some life support, although Lil'Panda is a little bit on the lower side in terms of food, and somehow the electrolysis reactors are losing money. Lil'Panda does have auto off turned off, which is a little bit of a problem because these could be off and saving Lil'Panda money instead of burning through some of Lil'Panda's money. Cat, thanks to the Offworld, is going to beat the race to the buy on Lil'Panda. Hexapus deciding to get into twodback just a little bit, deciding to optimize food. Twodback going into another expensive Offworld. Nobody decided to mutiny the Thinking Machines Scavengers Offworld. So the Goon Squad and Hologram for the second Offworld might be a little bit too much, but at least maybe hides it. Twodback, I think, continuing to still work that hacker array. Hexapus has moved into hacker array and hacking steel, which is pretty good because Hexapus is the only one in steel, so nobody else probably has a stockpile. This carbon tile still making pretty good money. Cat continuing to get nuked out. Nobody nuking out twodback's carbon whatsoever, still making a lot of money, $400. Single tile. That is pretty great. Somebody hacking oxygen. Twodback's hacking oxygen. A little bit of risky plays. I believe everybody is in some sort of electrolysis production except for Cat. Offworld hunting over here. Unfortunately, it is hidden on the silicon and launching aluminum. Is aluminum actually the best launch? Aluminum is not the best launch, so Lil'Panda has the wrong launches queued up, which is quite unfortunate. Needs all the advantages they can get in the race against Cat, except that Cat already has 100 on Lil'Panda, just hasn't quite realized it yet. Needs to finish selling down some of her resources, which she is doing. Gets the buy on Lil'Panda as more of her water gets nuked out, which is quite an issue because water's pretty high and Cat is now at a negative 2.9, so that is a little bit under $500 in water a second that Cat is paying for right now.
Our methods continue to improve.
But despite that, farms are still pretty profitable and make more money in food than the amount of water it takes to make them. Although Hexapus's farms without needing water are significantly better than Cat's. So the question is, twodback with this really high price right now, what is twodback going to do with this money? Hexapus is going to sell out of himself and try to purchase out Cat right here, right now. Hexapus sitting on quietly on a large stock of money. He's gotten back into this game with a bunch of patents, some optimizations, well actually not that many optimizations, just starting the optimization game and a few hacks. And then obviously a scientist in a late game life support is going to have quite the advantage over anybody else. But twodback, 81% of the way of the buy onto Hexapus as Cat buying into Hexapus. So the question is, does twodback decide to purchase half of Hexapus and maybe go 1v1 against Cat? Or will twodback allow Hexapus to take out Cat and then become the clear leader? Not a very easy decision unless twodback can beat Hexapus into the buy onto Cat themselves, but twodback needs $1 million to do that. That's not going to happen. So if twodback doesn't purchase Hexapus before Hexapus purchases Cat, twodback probably loses. If twodback lets Hexapus purchase Cat, twodback still probably loses. But at least in the purchasing Hexapus stage, twodback does have half of a sub and half of these shares. So twodback does have the ability to purchase Hexapus right now. Does need to do that if twodback wants a chance at winning, I would say. Doesn't realize that he has the purchase because his red buy button is not up. A lot of that's tied up in these off-world markets. Hexapus, on the other hand, did get the buy onto Cat. And twodback had the possibility of winning the game right there. But it does seem like it is in Hexapus' favor, as twodback does have a significant hill to climb in terms of money that twodback needs to make, and Hexapus does have 2 subs twodback needs. A little bit over $1 million to buy out Hexapus. Hexapus needs less than $1 million to buy out twodback. Twodback is ahead, but Hexapus, with the superior income earning ability off of these 2 subs, once Cat starts making money, should pull ahead and win the game. I would expect. It might be a little bit closer though. EMPs are really expensive, so it's going to be hard to shut down all of Hexapus's life support efficiently. Hexapus also in these solar panels, so could make some decent money off of power. Twodback is already making power. But as we can see, Hexapus is already caught up in the buyout percentage, so let's start speeding up the game, as it does look like Hexapus will march into a somewhat inevitable victory, simply because there isn't the black market for the scavenger to fight back against the scientist in this late game, and these 2 offworlds not quite able to keep up with 2 subs with 3 offworlds in between them. Iron Hack by Hexapus, that might be able to push him into the victory. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. This is getting a little bit closer than I might have expected. But this mutiny probably seals the deal for Hexapus. Even though it is a thinking machines mutiny, we'll still get off 1 launch. And twodback does decide to surrender, seeing the writing on the wall. Well played by Hexapus, a nice comeback from behind, a little bit victory, or at least comeback, unexpected comeback, maybe not completely from behind. Let's check out the charts and graphs. Hexapus making a killing off of steel. Nobody really got into pirating that or dealing with Hexapus' steel whatsoever, and then Hexapus was free to hack it. Cat, with her early moves into offworlds, was pretty good, but unfortunately Lil'Panda buying into Cat meant that Cat really wasn't in a position to perhaps buy into the person that she would have preferred to, which would have been Hexapus or twodback, and felt a little bit forced to buy out Lil'Panda. And then didn't quite have enough money to deal with Cat. And then we had twodback did have enough to buy out Hexapus, which probably would have given twodback a more likely path to victory, but I still think in that case twodback, not realizing if they had 100% of Hexapus, ended up inadvertently king-making Hexapus in this game. But that's FFA, so what are you gonna do? You can see Hexapus made a astounding $1.5 million on world. Looking at the balance sheet, almost made $500,000 off of dividend revenue. Cat was a very profitable sub along with Lil'Panda, especially once Lil'Panda's single offworld kept on launching. You can see that twodback did make a little bit more than Cat in the end, but was behind Cat by a significant amount. Cat definitely our second place player in this game. And twodback's way of surrendering did confuse tournament mod, which I'm casting this on for the extra little goodies. The twodback did lose a point for quote being majority bot, but as you can see, twodback would have placed third. At least, yeah, third, and Lil'Panda fourth, which does seem like a accurate placement. Well, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, or leave a message in the comments. Lil'Panda signing out.